the different parts of our ecosystem have gone through different cultural evolutions as far as the people who have worked on them. So some have had way more engineering discipline, some have had way less engineering discipline. And it kind of reiterates those first principles, those foundational pieces of software engineering. And when we started applying AI to those systems, which didn't have those, it became obvious like, oh, the really old code base that we have and tried to have it generate code, that was problematic. But exploring that code, not so problematic, it was actually very helpful in that regard. But then in our newer systems where we have more code coverage, testing, linting, and all of these principles in there around like design docs and the way that we've been building systems in EVE Online for the last, I think, 3 to 4 years, we've changed that up a bit. And now we can take all of that and feed it into AI, and then out the other side, we can see, oh, this is confirming all of the things that we've been doing and allow us to run faster in that direction. We have an example service repo where we automatically generate all the scaffolding for everything that we need to basically connect a new service or domain service into our message bus ecosystem. And part of that is very well-written documentation on this is how you send a request, this is how you handle a request or send a response or emit events, consume events, notices, whatever, right? And all of that was written by a human for a human. And so what we did naively was we're like, okay, cool, let's generate skills from that. What ended up happening, things like Claude would just ignore some of those things because the language was built for another human to read it and not feel like they were an idiot, right? But when Claude read it, it goes, oh, that's optional. The way that's written, that obviously sounds optional. We don't need to do that. And so we had to go back through our documentation and be very much belligerent about what information we were saying. We're like, these aren't optional. You can't ignore these kind of things. We have teams that are leveraging Canvas very successfully, but they're doing that because we put in the work to make sure that we had the OTel semantic conventions and we had our product conventions and we had the domain-specific conventions. And following those provided them with the capability to bootstrap into using something like Canvas, because it minimizes the need to kind of like disambiguate where those attributes would be fighting if you're not consistent with those in an ecosystem. When you go to the OTel semantic conventions, we need to be consistent about this because if we're not, then we can't really leverage it from a discoverability perspective when using an LLM or an agent of some kind. Just posting a link to Honeycomb inside of Slack gives you a graph and the query, and you don't even have to click on anything. It's all just there. And then that lures other disciplines in and other people who haven't used it before to go, what's that? That looks interesting. And then they get hit by a truck with all the information of what's going on. Canvas has offset that up another echelon because now I'm seeing people who have always been curious about like, hey, we see all these Honeycomb things flying around. What are those things? But now you can give them Canvas and they'd be like, okay, well, what does this mean? What's going on? Can you tell me more about what's happening in this trace?